I think the example I'll use is from my work at the University of Regina, where I was the Associate Vice President Academic for a few years. And one of the biggest projects I worked on was the creation of a brand new faculty. The University of Regina hadn't had a nursing program, and then the government asked the university to start a nursing program when there was a shift in the province around nursing education. One of the interesting parts of it was that it was meant to be a collaborative nursing program with what was then called SciAst and is now called SaskPoly. So it meant bringing together a university with a college to collaborate around a program. SciAst had a long history in nursing at the college level, at the diploma level, and the University of Regina had been involved in a collaborative with the University of Saskatchewan before that. So it really meant kind of working against people's kind of set conceptions of what nursing education was to look like, and bring that together with a college partner who also had very particular ideas about how nursing education should be done, move the whole thing into the arena of degree programming. And so this was a big project, and we started from scratch. We had no faculty, we had no dean, we had no equipment, we had no curriculum, we had nothing. So we started from the beginning. We hired an interim dean to help with some of that work. And while she was working on the curriculum and on the accreditation of the degree program, my major role was to set up the governance structure for the new faculty, and also to negotiate the agreement with SciAst. And that was a complex negotiation. As we had two, in some ways, very different worldviews coming together, and different sets of priorities, and of course some institutional self-interest on each side about how tuition would flow, how faculty would be hired, who would admit students, and how. So lots and lots of things. And the most complex thing was that early in the process, SciAst wished to have its own dean, and the University of Regina, of course, wished to have its own dean. And the original governance structure that was put forward was going to have two deans with equal accountability and equal authority making decisions. As you can imagine, this didn't work out very well for very long, because the first time something came under dispute, which was around admission standards, one dean thought one thing, the other dean thought the other thing, and there was really no easy way to resolve the situation. So this almost led to the collapse of the partnership. People almost walked away. And in the end, the way we resolved it was I did my homework. I did my research, and I went into the University of Regina Act, and I found the language around the dean, and it said the dean is the CEO of the faculty. And I went to my counterpart at SciAst and said, in terms of provincial legislation, the university dean has to take precedence in matters of decision making. And this was not an easy thing for our colleagues at SciAst to accept at first, but in the end we agreed on a governance structure that in the case of a dispute, because the university dean had a different level of accountability around resources and around accreditation, that the university dean would take precedence over the SciAst dean in decision making. And the collaborative to this day, it's now 10 years later, is running very smoothly.
Perfect. So you said research was an important element.
Yes.
Do you have another element, maybe other two elements that were important that made this change successful?
I would say the other thing that was really important was building relationships. Getting to know people. We would make sure that at least 50% of the meetings took place in SciAst's buildings, either in Regina or Saskatoon. So we would make sure that it wasn't just the University of Regina dominating the discussions, but building relationships and really coming to understand the priorities of the other institution, why they thought the way that they did, to benefit from their experience, their long experience in nursing education. And to try to take the best elements of both sides and really make it a collaborative.
Good. So as a young leader in higher education myself and all the other students in my program, what is something you would recommend or a tip you would give in making effective change?
I would say that the best tip really is to get to know people and to try to go into every situation with the mindset that you can learn from everyone and anyone. That other people's experience can be one of the greatest gifts that you can get. So really taking that time to talk to people, to listen to them, to learn about them. And as said, go to them. You know, it's amazing how much you can accomplish by getting in your car or walking, you know, across the street. You need to go to where people are. You need to get to know the people that they work with, and really show that respect, that you value the relationship.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Dr. Wells.
Thanks.